Hello everyone, my name is Kate Marshall. The name of my channel is called Inked Paper Art, and today is day 138 of 365 days of junk journal ideas. I'm going to be making some botanical themed tags today. Still working on finishing some journals this week, so let's go ahead and make these botanical themed tags. I'm going to use coffee dyed cardstock as my base for my tags. That way when I decorate the front of the tag, the back side will be the coffee dyed paper. I'm going to use this antique French ledger for the background of my botanical tags. You can see when I tore this one out of the journal or the ledger that it was in, it tore here. So it's a perfect example of, we need to repurpose this. We're going to use it as backgrounds for our tags. And then for decorating, I've chose all of my usual suspects: mushrooms, I have botanical rice paper, and for the focal points, I have some just printouts of CDVs or cabinet cards. I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing decorating wise, but those are what I pulled to start with. Let's go ahead and get this ledger paper glued down onto the cardstock so we can use it for our background. You guys know all of the original documents and things I use are also available to you guys. So let's go ahead and get these backgrounds on here. So we're going to make some larger tags. I'm going to just glue this whole sheet on here. That's what I'm going to do. So let's do it. So we're going to use quite a bit of glue stick, but we'll have lots of backgrounds. So I've chosen, let's see, I need a little bit more room here. I've chosen this for the cardstock because I like having the backs already done with coffee dyed paper, so I don't have to then back my project with regular paper. It's already built onto the cardstock. So I'm just going to glue up a big section of this, and we're going to put that ledger paper on it, and we'll have a background. I'm going to make these tags fairly large. Let's make them about, say, 6.5, 7.5, in that range, by about 3 or 4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and glue this whole thing up. We're going to have to use a couple pieces of ledger here, but no big deal. I can always use coffee dyed ledger cardstock. So let's just do it. There we go. I'll glue up the top of this here in just a moment. Let's position that. Grab my ledger page again. I've tucked it under a bin. At least I'm trying to keep it tucked over there so I have some space. And I don't really want all of this white stuff over here, so I'm going to start over here and just overhang that little bit. I am going to attempt to do this somewhat straight. We'll see if I'm successful. Let's see, where's my cardstock? There's my cardstock. Oop, we got to come up a little bit. A little smidgen more. Something in that area. And so there's that. Now we have some antique French ledger cardstock, basically, with coffee dyed paper on the back. All right, so we have this little strip here. This is mostly blank, but I think it will still work for my project, even, if I get a skinnier tag there or something. So I'm going to leave that the way it is, and I'm going to put another piece of, ledger paper there. I was thinking about it. Let's just do it. So again, we've got this white section. So for this one, I need to trim off some of that. And I'm just going to come with scissors and trim off some of that white. I've often shown you guys how to sit and just make, your background pieces ahead of time like this, so that you have them in your to-do box and you can just pick up at a moment's notice and go ahead and make something because you've already got your cardstock and your background done. We missed the top up there just a little. It's all right. So there's that. Now we need to cut off the offcut part from the back. And so I'm just going to take my scissors and trim around this, very basic, but this is the prep work. And if you already have them in your to-do box, then you've already got that part done. I'm just going to keep cutting. And we'll cut this here. Now I know it's not covering the entire piece of cardstock yet, So I will leave myself a little bit of wiggle room as we come back in and glue this. There we go. And we'll cut off this side. So a little bit more gluing, and then we're going to cut this in the big cutter to cut our tags. It's basically like making a masterboard out of 1 or 2 sheets of paper, but really we just after the background. Okay, so there's that. Let's go ahead and glue the bottom part now. So now we've got this that needs to be glued. So we're just going to fold our paper up and add glue there. I wasn't sure if I wanted to cover the whole 12 by 12 or not. That's why I didn't do it on the first round, but we ended up doing it. So there we go. Just get glue all the way up there and fold your paper down. And good to go. Awesome. All right, so now we have some big layers, right? Big layers. We've got 1 layer here. Just getting that all the way flat down, and 1 layer here. All right, so I'm going to let this dry for just a moment, and then I'm going to cut it in my big cutter, and I'm going to make those tags again about 3.5, 4 inches, maybe, by 6.5, 7, 7.5. We'll find out what I actually cut them to once it's dry and I do it. Okay, so I've ended up doing 7 inches by 3 3/4, 3 3/8, something in that range. It's an in-between measurement. So let's go ahead and decorate these. Now they've got copy dyed paper on the back. They're good to go. We will cut them into tag shape here in a minute. This is the one where I pieced 2 pieces together. And I don't think it's going to matter because I'm going to put a tall flower here. So I think that will be fine. We also got some large journal cards out of that. So we have lots of things to play with. Let's go ahead and start with our collage work on these. I do want to put large flowers, so I've got the rice paper for the flowers. And I think it will be nice to layer some tall flowers with some mushrooms and then maybe a person. We'll see. It might just be flowers, not really sure yet. But I want to trim off the small ones down here at the bottom. And these are available in a digital in my Etsy shop. All of this is a digital. The mushrooms are digital. These people are digital in my Etsy store if you're looking for those. Let's go ahead and use this big purple flower here. And I like the ones on rice paper. You guys know that. You can print them out on anything, but I've just printed my own digital onto rice paper and it works just fine. So we'll cut out that one a little better. And then we've got, let's use this blue one. Blue, purple, let's use that. Okay. So I just kind of do a skim little cut first, and then I come in and do a little more detail cut. And then from here, we have lots of other options. I think we'll do a yellow just to keep things different. So everything isn't all same. And I just like to trim off the excess rice paper first and then come in and do the detail cut. So there's that. Got some little extra bits. And on every page you have short flowers and long flowers. So there's those. Let's do some cutting. Well, let's layer them out just a little bit first. And then we'll do some cutting. So we've got flowers here. Now we're going to look at doing some mushrooms. And I need to get the right size mushrooms. Like these green mushrooms are not a bad size. So we might be able to use those. But the rest of those ones I think are going to be too big. So let's see what else we have in the mushroom department. There is some smaller ones here. I think these ones will work. Not really that guy. Like those. Let's use these. So we'll get one of these red ones here. So I just go through, cut everything out roughly, and then I'll go in fussy cut. I'll do it off camera so you guys don't have to watch. But here, let's do the white ones. Let's see, where do we want these green ones? Let's do green and yellow, red and blue, and white in kind of the pinky maroon color. Let's layer out that. So let me get that fussy cut and I'll be right back. So I did have to swap out my little green ones because they were going to be too short over here. I mean, it's not bad, but you would have needed another focal point up here because they're too short. So I swapped them out for something taller. I really like the way that these are coming out. So let's go ahead and get some things glued down, and then we will talk about how we're going to finish these little tags off. So we're going to glue our flower off to the left and our mushroom off to the right. And then we can have all of that beautiful French ledger in the background. Very, very simple, but beautiful tags. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. I'll do one on camera and then I'll switch and fast forward the rest. So let's get these glued and then we'll come up with a plan for finishing. So my glue stick is a little dry. A little bit. It's been sitting open. Oh, yep. Just a little bit dry there. No big deal. Let me go ahead and get it started, and that will help me out here. There we go. Much better. Sometimes it's just too dry, and then it sticks and pulls the rice paper. It's just fragile. So there's that. We will piecemeal our flower back together right here. We're about ready to lose some more of it. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to slide that down. This one is twisted right here. Usually it's not that hard, but today it's just going to be the way it's going to be. All right, and so we just need to get this guy in some glue and pick him back up. Because it's rice paper, this works. If it wasn't rice paper, you wouldn't be able to piece this guy back together like that. So there's that, and let's do our mushroom. I'm going to attempt to pick up some of this glue. Why not? Now, if you're ever gluing a doily, you know how we glue paper doilies? This is an excellent method for gluing a paper doily. Just smearing a big old wet glob of glue stick onto your craft mat, and then you can dab your paper doily in that and get the doily, you know, stuck to the glue. It will not tear up as long as you're careful. And so then I'm just going to go in and hit where I need to hit here. There we go. And we're going to glue that guy on. Boy, that was a messy one. So we've got some mushrooms, and I didn't ink anything, which normally I would have, but honestly, I really like how simple these tags are, just as they are. So I don't know, inking may not happen. So there's the one. I'll cut it into tag shape. Let me get the rest glued on, and we'll come back and do the finishing touches. That was good. All right, so this is what we ended up with. 3 beautiful French mushroom flower tags. They are not complete, but they are going to be complete here shortly. So we're done with that part. Let's go ahead and cut these into tag shape. Let's see if they're about the same. They're about the same width, not quite the same height. And that one's just ever so slightly wider. So I might be able to cut 2 together here. So I'm just going to make tag shape and come in at the same angle, roughly. Tag shape. And this guy here. This guy, he's got some little issue here with his cardstock showing, so we're going to trim that off. Now, I don't want to cut that number, but it is going to need to be cut a little bit. Let me figure out what kind of angle we're going to do. Just a little angle there. And so, a skinny little angle. Yeah, it cuts some, but not much. Okay, so there's that. Now from here, I don't really want to do much else to these. I love how simple they are. I don't love the paper up here at the top where it's just barely noticeable that I have 2 pieces there. I may end up putting just like some kind of label or postage stamp or something coming in this direction on that one. The other option is I do have this German paper measuring tape. And that might be a good option to go up there. I don't know. Let's find out. Do I want to just kind of do another whole number up there? not really. If I was really going to use this, I'd use it up here. So let's go ahead and do that, and maybe we'll just direct our eye over there instead. So we'll do 3 pieces of that, and then I think we're going to call it good, other than inking around these guys. I know you guys always ask me for this. It is coming. I do have it now. I didn't have it before, but I do have it now, and it is coming to the live sales. So you guys will be able to have your own rolls of German paper measuring tape. So there's that. Let's go ahead and get these glued down. So here's that. And I'm going to just glue that whole piece that I got there, and I'm going to wrap it around to the back. So wherever I stick it on here is fine, but then I'm just going to wrap it to the back. Just keeping it as straight as I can. And then wrap that little piece right over the edge there. That's great. Love that. And then we'll do this next one. You could just pull it through your glue stick, but my fingers are already super sticky. So we're just doing it like this today. So there's that. I love these tags. These are some of my favorite things. I think I'm just in the zone today, if I can be honest with you guys. Because I have done several videos today and I have really loved everything I've made. And I know you guys are like that too sometimes, where you just in the zone, you love everything, it's coming out beautifully. And then there's other days for me as well that things don't come out quite the way that I had hoped. And maybe it's just not a good crafting day. So I am happy that today is a good crafting day. Not always, right? It's just some days are more of a struggle than others. For all of us, it doesn't matter whether you're new or you've been doing this for 30 years. It really doesn't matter. There's just good craft days and bad craft days. Okay, so there's where we're at. Other than a little quick ink, I am finished with these. You might want to add some kind of little label or something. I don't. I love how simple these are. These are just sweet, simple little tags. So I'm going to do the very lightest little, because I don't want to take away from the white of these tags. I think what makes these tags look nice is that more white ledger paper back there in the background. So again, this was an original piece of ledger page that I do sell at the live sales. If you're looking for this one, it is available, but it's just a regular original ledger page. And I don't want to take away from how beautiful that is in the background. What makes it look so beautiful, the white background color and that beautiful French calligraphy writing. So I'm really not trying to get a whole bunch of aging or grunginess around these tags, just enough to, you know, blend that fresh cut paper edge in. And then of course I will ink the back, but you guys don't need to sit here and watch me do that. But you know, it's on coffee dyed paper already. So there's 3 lovely tags. Now, if you want to put a whole reinforcer, put a whole reinforcer. I don't know that I do or don't yet. I'll have to wait for them to be in the journal to decide. But this is them. They came out beautiful. I am in love with them. I hope you guys are in love with them too. The mushrooms are my digital. The flowers are my digital. The ledgers are in my live sales. You guys know that. German measuring tape coming soon. So you'll be able to make these exact tags, and maybe you're working on your botanical field note journal still, like I am. If you are, this is the journal. I have 3 of them. They're nearing completion. I just needed a couple more bits of ephemera for them. So that's what we're doing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye, guys. Thanks.